Welcome once again to another episode of Stu Hip Productions Presents
J&M Solve the World. I am James.
And I am Matt. And tonight we are going to give you a special Super Bowl preview-ish. Now,
because as we are recording live,
we are
1 week and a half a day away
from kickoff. Now,
the conference championships were last weekend.
Yes. The Eagles beat like a redheaded stepchild beat the Washington Commanders and scored the highest points ever during a playoff game.
Yeah, I seen that.
At 55.
I'm like, wow.
The
The Commanders, hey, don't hang your heads low. You guys had a great fucking season.
You made it to the NFC Championship.
With a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
Who was going to be phenomenal for years to come, barring injury. I think he's just going to get better.
You knocked out the number 1 seed, Detroit Lions, who were 15-1.
Yeah.
They were 15-1 going into the divisional round.
Went into their house and beat them. Wasn't a goof either. They beat them.
Yeah. The Rams beat the Vikings in the wild card.
Yep.
And the Commanders beat the Rams, didn't they? Or was it Detroit that beat the Rams?
No. It was Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. It was a snow game. Yes. That's right.
In which the Rams, I picked them to go all the way.
Right.
I knew going into Philadelphia was going to be a tough fucking challenge.
Right.
And then when you add all the snow they got in the second half of that game.
Oh, my God.
You know, a team from L.A., but their quarterback, Matt Stafford, he played 13 years in Detroit or whatever it was, which Detroit's got a dome, but they had to play Green Bay and Chicago.
Yes.
At least once in their houses every year. So
Lambeau, the frozen tundra, and Soldier Field.
Basically what that game boiled down to was the Rams allowed 3 big, long runs. 1 by Jalen Hurts and 2 by
Saquon Barkley.
If it hadn't, and they only lost by 6.
And the Eagle fans would say, "Thank you, Giants."
Exactly. What was that? Is that on Jason's show? Was it heard where he's running like he did when he got the hell out of New York?
Yeah. Yeah. And on the AFC side, of course, the Chiefs were the number 1 seed, so they got that first round bye. The Bills and the Ravens met up in the wild card. The Bills beat the Ravens. And then Kansas City played.
Kansas City beat Houston
in the divisional round.
The division, yep.
And then Buffalo came into Arrowhead and once again left Arrowhead with a L.
Did you say, though, it was another classic Bills-Chiefs game?
Yes.
It came down to the wire. I'm like going, can the Chiefs win a game by 14 points?
Oh, no.
No, apparently not.
but it was they scored over 30, which they hadn't done all season.
First time all year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we did see in the postseason from the Chiefs, Travis didn't really look good all season, but postseason Trav, right there, ready to go.
He went off in that game.
Oh my God!
Against Houston.
Oh
yeah.
Fuck yeah!
The game against the Bills, he had 3 catches?
Yeah. They were doing a lot more run game, really getting it to Kareem Hunt, doing a lot with Juju. What the? Damn it!
Well, and Worthy.
My cup won't let me drink. Well, fuck you then.
Who said you don't have a drinking problem?
I don't. Other than I can't.
You can't get your drink out of your cup.
I can't get my lid open.
You have a drinking problem.
There we go.
technical difficulties.
Yeah. Not like the Super Bowl special alcohol review when we had alarms going off.
Right.
But,
But one guy for the Chiefs that did really have probably his career game was rookie wide receiver
Xavier Worthy.
Worthy.
God, yeah.
That kid, I mean, he had a day against Buffalo.
Yeah, he did.
First time I've really seen him have that kind of a game all
Right.
year. He's had some moments.
Yeah.
But he was like the go-to guy in this game.
He was.
Showed his speed, and
Yep.
he looked really good.
Kareem really played clutch. He didn't do too much in where did he play? Cleveland?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After he got fired from Kansas City for his domestic dispute deal, the Chiefs like, we don't want that shit. So he went to Cleveland for 3 years?
No.
4?
No, I don't even think it was like, I'm wanting to say he was on last season's Super Bowl run.
No.
Oh.
They brought Kareem in this year after Pacheco went down.
Right. But, when he left Cleveland, Kansas City brought him back, and he was on the practice squad. And the only reason why he came up to the main roster was because Juju and Pacheco. Yeah. Pacheco went out, and, I mean, they just started losing. But then, postseason, you got Worthy, you've got Hunt, you've got Juju Smith-Schuster, you've got D-Hop, Hollywood Brown, you got Nola Gray, you've got, of course, Kelsey, and, I mean, you've got all these weapons.
And, and this year the Chiefs have proven that Mahomes is willing to take what you give him.
Yes.
Because when they had whatchyfuckle that went to
Tyreek Hill. Yep.
They were all about the long ball.
Mm-hmm.
And when teams started putting the 2 deep safeties on them and everything and making them take the underneath stuff, they had trouble with that.
Yeah.
Not that it slowed them down. They've won the last 2 Super Bowls. But this year, it seemed more like they were content to take 5 yards.
Right.
7 yards.
Yeah.
3 yards, whatever. We'll just keep as in
and it wasn't just a one-sided team because, I mean, they ended the regular season 15-2. And the only reason why they got that second loss was because they played shit. They played second and third string in that final game against Denver.
Yeah, because
they had the number one seed already locked
up and everything. They had no reason to play that game. They had some nagging injuries. I mean, Mahomes with the ankle, and I think Kelsey was dinged up a little bit. It's like, let them guys rest. And a lot of people was going, well, they haven't played a meaningful game in 3 weeks before that division round.
Right.
Looked pretty good in that division round.
Fuck yeah, they did.
That was the easiest win they had all year.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you think about it, Patrick, Travis, Chris Jones, the big 3 mainstays that have been in their last 3 Super Bowl championships, none of those 3 had played since Christmas.
Right.
Christmas Day in Pittsburgh, and then right to the divisional round.
Mm-hmm. Old men need rest.
Oh, yeah. And, I mean, even Jason Kelsey, Travis's brother, even had stated, and not saying it on NFL on ESPN when they were at Arrowhead for the divisional round. He wasn't saying it, but Jason was wearing yellow gloves, which Travis generally always wears yellow gloves.
Right. That way Mahomes just looks for the yellow gloves.
Right. But Travis had to...
There was one catch Travis had in that game against the Texans. And you're going, God, this fucker is slow, but he just keeps going down the field after that catch.
Oh, yeah.
Knocking people over.
Middle of the field. The safeties were back. The corner was coming at him. He caught it. like straight up stiff arming Bo Jackson style, and it looked like he was just kind of trotting,
right, just lumbering,
right, but
rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.
Hey, regardless of the fact, 6'4", 285. I'm assuming, I don't know what his actual stats are, but
somewhere pretty close.
Damn near the greatest tight end of all time. Mm-hmm. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Mm-hmm.
He got a hell of a career after football.
Now, to be
Some
fair,
kind of entertainment.
Oh yeah. To be fair, James's favorite team, my favorite team, neither one is playing in the Super Bowl. Nope. Our teams, just like us, will be watching from the couch. And do not let my hair fool you. I had it, the streak dyed green.
You're on camera, it kind of looks yellow.
Okay. Hey, regardless of the fact.
I think he's supporting both. It's almost like he's got the yellow and the green going on both.
Yeah, like I'm one of the Kelseys.
Yeah.
But I live in Kansas City, and I see a lot more of their local things, and I'm around a lot more Chiefs fans, and
you get to see the good that the Kelsey and his 87 and running, and Pat Mahomes and the stuff that they do.
The 15 of my homies, and it's not just that, but I'm around a lot of Chiefs fans that can spout like actual stats and not just be like, "Oh my God, there's Taylor's boyfriend."
Right.
But you know what? I would like to have a shirt that says Chefs across the front, and then Swift with 87 on the back. Just to piss fucking people off.
I thought it was funny after they beat the Texans. There was a meme. Of course, you get all this. Oh, the referees are giving it to the Chiefs and everything.
Yeah.
And there was a meme that showed Travis Kelce catching that ball over the middle.
Yep.
And it said, "I don't think the referees had anything to do with Kelce being wide open."
Right.
Because there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him.
No.
It's like, how could you not cover number 87 in a fucking playoff game?
No shit.
I mean, it ain't that he outran anybody.
No.
He outsmarted him.
Right.
It's probably one of their pick plays, though.
It could have been. I mean, because if you think about it, at any given time, you could have D-Hop, Juju Smith-Schuster, Kareem Hunt, Travis Kelce,
Hollywood Brown, Noah
Gray, all of these fucking weapons on the field at the same fucking time.
Well, maybe not all of them at the same time.
Right. But
at least 3 receivers and one of those tight ends, and then the running back.
Right. I mean, it's not like, and I don't want to knock Philly, but it's like everybody is talking about Saquon Barkley as if like he is the only thing. Saquon and Jalen Hurts are the only thing that Philly's got going for him.
Their offensive line.
Yes.
Their defensive line.
Yep.
That's the thing that worries me about the Chiefs' chances, is just the physical size of both of those lines. Will the Chiefs' defensive line be able to – I mean, you look at how many sacks the Rams had on Philadelphia in that divisional round.
Yeah.
What they were up to, 7?
Yeah.
Something like that. So they were getting there. And they put a hurting on Jalen Hurts. I mean, that boy was hurting after that game. Chiefs done the same things to the Texans with 8 sacks.
Yep.
The Rams the week before had 9 in the wild card round.
Against the fucking Vikings.
Yeah. But you can – and the Rams' defensive line is not that big, but they're fast.
Yeah.
And course, you got probably one of the best defensive linemen in the game in
Chris Jones.
Right. And then that makes the other, they're going to double, triple team him. That gives opportunities for the other guys.
Right. Because, Tranquil had he had 3 sacks alone on Houston. So, yeah, as they're watching Jones and everybody else, you've got this other guy coming around and making plays.
And the way Spags does his
my God,
blitz packages and everything,
yeah,
you don't know where they're coming from. It could be a corner off the left side. It could be a linebacker up the middle. It could be, or it could be both.
Well, there's a reason why Spags has the Super Bowl rings that he has. There's a reason why Spags is no longer wanting a head coach.
Has he got 5 now?
Yeah.
Because I know he had 2 in New York with the Giants, and now he's got 3 with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to stay in his lane and just coach defense because he's going to get paid.
Well, and Spags came from Philly with Andy.
Was he in that coaching tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Andy, and it wasn't like Andy was poaching. It's that coaches believe in Andy Reid.
Well, that's another factor we got going into this game. We've got the all-time winningest coach in Philadelphia history and the all-time winningest head coach in Kansas City Chiefs history. Oh, and by the way, they're both Andy Reid.
They're both on the same sideline.
They're both Andy Reid.
Andy, with the division win, got win number 300. So he joined Belichick. Was it Shula, and Pittsburgh's coach before Tomlin.
Chuck Noll?
I think. I don't know. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm going to put it up somewhere here, but I probably won't. Because
I was thinking Curly Lambeau or Vince Lombardi.
Yes. That's who it is.
I think it was Vince Lombardi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
pretty rarefied air there.
Right. And the fact that
he went to 5 straight NFC Championship games with the Eagles and won 1. He's now went to 7 straight AFC Championship games.
And won 5.
Won 5.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking good.
He's been to 5 Super Bowls in the last 6 years and won 3.
No, they're 3-1 in Super Bowls. Oh, well, this will be the 5th.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
First team in NFL history to repeat going back to back to back.
Well, if
winners,
if they win,
yes,
but they are the first team to go back to the Super Bowl after going back to back winners.
Yes.
No other team has went back to back winners and then went back to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So they've already set that record. But if they can win it, they'll be the first team to three-peat. Yeah,
right.
In Super Bowl history. The last team that won 3 NFL championships was the Green Bay Packers with Vince Lombardi.
That was before the Super Bowl.
No, it was actually the first 2. It was called the AFC NFC Championship game. And then the league merged in 71.
Yep.
And that was the first Super Bowl.
Right.
But they started counting them back in that first one in 1967. When the Chiefs lost to the Packers.
Yep. When did they rename the trophy?
Oh, we talked about this. It was 70. God damn it. 3?
Yes.
Wow.
Super Bowl 4.
Yep. And that was the first one the Chiefs won.
Yep. No.
They beat the Vikings in Super Bowl 4.
Okay, yeah, okay. So it wasn't Super Bowl 4. It was, yeah, because Super Bowl 4 was 1970. Because it was exactly 50 years. Because the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl with Mahomes in 2020.
Right.
After the 19 season.
Right.
74.
Just before COVID.
Yeah, 74 would have been. Wait a second. Hold up.
Can you read that bottle?
Super Bowl 9. Pittsburgh. Their first Super Bowl.
Because that was like same year or the year after Vince Lombardi passed away.
I believe that was the year after Vince passed away, and that's when they named the trophy the Lombardi Trophy.
I heard him talking today. You know, the AFC Championship is the Lamar Hunt Trophy.
Mm-hmm.
The NFC Championship, I can't remember what the name of its trophy is. But then you got the Lombardi Trophy as a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah.
But there's no name on the MVP of the Super Bowl.
No.
I heard him talking on Sports Talk this week. They said, you know, they really ought to name that the Tom Brady Super Bowl MVP trophy. Because he has more Super Bowl MVPs than any other player with 5.
Okay. Well, and then, comeback player of the year.
Like they name it,
Comeback player of the year should be named after Alex Smith.
Should be.
Because, nobody has gotten fucked up as bad as Alex Smith and came back and got his team to the playoffs.
Right.
While his...
Nobody's got that fucked up and actually played a game since.
Yeah.
Joe Theismann didn't do it.
Fuck no.
And he didn't have near the complications. Same break.
Right.
But Alex Smith, they pulled all the meat off of his fucking calf from his knee to his ankle. No skin, no muscle, just to get rid of fucking infection. And then they started building shit back, and they were going to use part of his lat for a calf muscle.
Yeah.
And he said, will I be able to throw again? And they're like going, you're never going to play again. So don't worry about that. He's like, let me touch my fucking lat. I want to be able to throw.
So, and
I remember the first game he played, he didn't start.
Mm-hmm.
It was against the Rams, and the starter got hurt.
Yeah.
And he went in, and they was in Washington.
Yep.
And that whole stadium erupted. And then they put the camera on his wife.
Oh, and she was fucking eating her fingernails like it was her last supper.
She was as gray as a fucking ghost.
Oh, my God.
And then when he got hit, she turned white as a fucking sheet.
And it's like all the air got pulled out of that stadium.
And then he got up, and everybody's like, whew.
It's... I said it mid-season, and it hurts me to ever admit it. But at the same time, I can't buck tradition. I have rooted for the AFC team in the Super Bowl since 1987. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the AFC team in this Super Bowl, much like the last two, have been from the AFC West.
And your hometown.
And where I call home. Mm-hmm. I'll take it because, yeah, it'd be nice for Philly to get a second one. But
without having a dog in a hunt, except for
living in Missouri
and watching more Chiefs games in recent years since the Rams moved back to LA.
Fuck you, Stan Kroenke.
Yeah, fuck you, Stan Kroenke. I was hoping the stadium would have caught on fire.
Oh, man.
Not really. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But if it had happened, I'd have been like, "Aw."
As long as nobody was in the building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on a...
Don't wish anybody getting hurt.
No. But $4 billion going up in smoke to Stan Kroenke's money.
Up in smoke. That's where my money goes.
But I'm looking at this game is I like seeing history.
Yes.
And to see the Chiefs win 3 in a row would be something that will probably never happen again in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fuck, it might happen the next 3 years with a different team. Who knows? But
right.
I'm just saying it's never happened yet. And in this day of free agency and salary caps, it's hard to keep a great team together.
And, you know, Patrick he's 4 years into his contract extension, 5 years.
Something like that.
That $500 million contract that he signed.
It was a 10-year contract.
Right.
That he...
And he
basically
he leaves room in the salary cap every year.
He arranged it to where his salary wasn't going to hurt the team from getting
players,
kind of like Tom Brady did.
Yep.
He would renegotiate his salary just so it didn't hit the cap as bad. He got his money.
Right.
Maybe not as soon as he would have normally, but he got his money. But he was about getting those rings, and he's got more than anybody else.
Jordan was the same way.
Yeah.
Jordan, 1-year contracts at $1 million for his last 3 NBA titles because he wanted those titles more than he wanted money because he was making more money in endorsements.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Than he was anything else.
Yeah.
And, you know, the same could be said for Brady. I mean,
you could say the same about Pat.
Pat and Trav.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting that nuggy money.
You know,
but
you got Mahomes and Maotto.
Mahomes and Maotto. And you got the Bondele.
Well, and
football and football.
Yeah. Travis and Jason signed that big deal with Amazon for their podcast.
Of course, Jason's on the Prime.
Oh my God!
Coverage of NFL Thursday night.
NFL pre-show Monday night. Let's see here. Last week during the championship games, he did the pregame, or he did the tailgate in Philly, and he made it to Kansas City for the game to watch his brother win an AFC Championship once again. And say what you want to say about the refs or that voodoo Swifty money.
She-do.
Yeah, that she-do money, but...
yeah, because, you know, after her last breakup, she sold herself to the devil and got that black magic billionaire money now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
According to that AI Patrick Mahomes interview we seen.
Right, but, you know, I got to hand it to that AI interview, though, is... You know, at the end of it, he's
said
like
everything that he probably really wants to say in an interview.
But he was like, "How ridiculous does that shit sound?"
Right.
You know, Pat's calling up Roger Goodell. Oh, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. You know, and
there was a meme before the Bills game that said referees have penalized the Bills for a 15-yard roughing the passer before the game. You know.
There was.
I mean, the only really controversial call in that AFC Championship was
the first down,
the fourth down,
yeah,
on the goal line,
right?
And Allen kept it,
yeah,
and it looked like, did he get it? I don't know, but they reviewed it from all angles, and I'm trying to look at it objectively, but to me, it looked like the ball was here.
Yep.
His head did penetrate the line.
Right.
But I couldn't see any evidence that showed the ball crossing the line.
Well,
and that's all it counts. It's the ball.
Right.
It's not the player's head or his foot. It's the ball.
Right. Because it's exactly like a diving touchdown as you're going towards the corner, you're going towards the pylon and you're going out, But if you get that ball out and it crosses the goal line.
If that ball touches the pylon, it's a score.
That is correct.
Because if it touches the pylon from the outside of the pylon sits on the border, not outside the border. If you touch that pylon anywhere, that's in the field of play.
Right.
As long as you didn't have a foot go down or a knee go down before you touched it.
Right.
So anyway, that was the only one that I could have thought, well, they might have got that one, but and the one thing that the Chiefs got going for them playing the Bills before they play the Eagles is the Bills are the second best team at the tush push.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs shut that shit down.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew they were going to run off the left tackle or the left guard, and they shut it down. And
again, got to give it to Spags. Spagnuolo, there's a reason the man has 5 Super Bowl rings as a defensive coordinator.
And you got to think, too, he played against the Eagles twice a year for however many years he was in New York.
Yep.
Granted, it's a different organization now.
Yep.
But teams kind of have tendencies, even with different coaches and different,
But Spags always has something up his sleeve.
But he's got,
regardless of what team,
he's got film on that shit.
Oh my God!
I mean, he probably hadn't seen his wife since August.
He probably does his wife either doggy style with a TV in front of him, or she's riding him and he's got a TV on the ceiling. And he's watching film.
Or he's doing it doggy style with the iPod on her back.
iPad on her back.
Oh, quit. Damn, that's what they're doing there.
Oh, quit moving. The screen is bouncing. But.
Did you just fart, honey? What the hell?
But again, okay, now to get off of the play, the Chiefs have said that if they win, there will not be a rally this year.
In a parade?
No. They just said there won't be a rally.
Oh, okay.
Because because that's where the shooting happened last year.
Why couldn't they do a rally inside Arrowhead?
Was I talking to you or was I talking to somebody else?
I think he's talking to somebody else because we haven't talked about this.
Because we were, me and a guy that I work with, we were talking about it. You do the parade down Grand Avenue like they've done, and then you set a time for the rally at Arrowhead.
Right, inside the stadium.
Yes. And it's open to the public, but it's just like a game. You've got to go through a metal detector. And, you have the big rally there. You've got the stage set up on the field.
Open concessions.
Yes.
Money-making deal.
Exactly.
Hotels around the stadium are going to be fucking full because they're Ubering to that shit.
Right. But, that would be because you can't do it.
Do it on a Saturday.
Well, no, I mean, even if
I'm just saying do it on a Saturday. That way people can rest up and go to work Monday.
A lot of people, they already take the day of the parade and the day after off.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
And
I'm just saying that might say,
you don't get a lot of out-of-towners come in town for the parade.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The businesses in Kansas City could stay open if they do it on a Saturday.
Right.
Then the bars and stuff would do great fucking business that day.
Well, there's not that many bars around.
No, but the rest of town, the people that couldn't, say you had to buy a ticket to go to the rally.
Or get a ticket.
Yeah.
Right.
So you couldn't get it. So all the bars and stuff in downtown be open. People celebrate. Of course, there might be a shooting there.
Okay.
But
okay. I'll go one better. So at the NFL draft, when it was in Kansas City, they had all the concessions and everything set up, and it was local businesses, local barbecue places, I'm
sure Slaps had a booth.
Yes. And Chef J's and, you know, all these. Now you take those trucks, you set them up in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. Okay, because the security at Arrowhead, GEHA Field at Arrowhead isn't like it is in the stadium, but they're still constantly moving. You never know when.
Oh, you mean in the parking lot?
Right.
Right.
So you set up all of these vendors in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. They make money.
Do a tailgate before the rally.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Because a lot of people try to do that now before the parade, but they just get there at butt crack early in the morning before the sun comes up to get like right on the street. Mm-hmm. So nobody's in front of them. So they see everybody in the parade.
Right.
And 2 years ago, before the repeat, or their second Super Bowl win with the current Mahomes, Andy Reid, that I was as close to Travis Kelce as I am to you right now.
Nice. You were going, Jesus.
Not really, because I had my phone out. I was taking a picture.
Oh, okay.
But it was just, you know, it gives, because the players are, a lot of the players, I should say, are getting fucking hammered on that parade.
Yeah, I remember that first one they won. You know, after 50 years of Mahomes, he just couldn't hardly fucking stand up on the bus.
and he threw that pass at a dude that was running, looking for it, and then ran face first into a fucking sign. And then, of course, Travis.
Keep going.
Yeah. Travis is drunk as shit so much that when they go to the White House, they don't let him talk.
I remember when the Rams won the Super Bowl last, and it had to have been like the day of the parade, but he was on some late night show. It was Aaron Donald.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucker came on the show with a bottle of fucking champagne, and he's fucking lit.
Well, okay. The Chiefs are in Missouri. What other big brewery is in Missouri? So, ipso facto, there is a whole lot of Budweiser products, Anheuser-Busch products, being slammed during that parade. And then it was 2 years ago, New Heights, Travis's podcast with his brother, they were sponsored by Fireball. So there was a bunch of the Fireball shooters just slammed on the ground. A friend of my brother's daughter has, I think it's a Bud Light can that Mahomes, like it was one of the aluminum bottles or whatnot, that he chugged and then spiked on the ground, and she got a cop to give her that can.
Nice.
Got a picture of her with Travis Kelce.
Nice.
You know, it's a big deal when the schools and businesses will excuse you from work to go to the parade.
Yeah.
I worked at the national, one of the national fucking treasury centers, one of two in the United States. Mm-hmm. And it would have been an excused absence to go to the parade in 2020.
And you're working for the federal government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a good thing I didn't go because the parade in 2020, it was ice. And my brother got there with his son, with my nephew, and they're in a parking garage, like looking down at the parade.
Right.
And the last couple of years, we've been down on the street because where we worked at was a couple blocks from Grand.
Right.
And, I mean, it was... Yeah, as you're walking down there, you've got the vendors, the true vendors, the bullshit vendors that have the, like, there was a flag that got sold that said 3-time Super Bowl champs. Because whoever made up the shirt was a fucking dipshit and only counted the 3 with Mahomes.
Yeah.
Not the first one with Lenny Dawson.
Lenny Dawson, yeah.
So no, it's
totally off the
yes.
Chiefs. Totally off the Chiefs here.
Mm-hmm.
Prediction: if the Eagles win or lose,
mm-hmm.
the Eagles fans will set Philadelphia on fire.
No. You
don't think?
If the Eagles win, there will be people climbing poles on Bourbon Street. And
is it Bourbon Street in Philadelphia?
No, down in Louisiana.
Oh, no, I'm talking about Philly itself.
Oh, in Philly? No. I don't think anything big destruction-wise is going to be in Philly.
If they lose?
Even then, I don't think so.
I mean, Philly fans booed fucking Santa Claus.
True.
They cheered when Michael Irvin
got hurt.
Took a header.
Oh, yeah.
On that field at Veterans Stadium, which was fucking concrete with a piece of cloth over the top of it.
Right. But that was the Cowboys, though.
Yeah, I know. But usually you don't cheer when somebody gets legit hurt. He got upended and landed on his head, never played again. I seen an interview with him. He was asking him about that. Or somebody asked him about that. I said, are you mad at the Philly fans for that? And he goes, hell no. I've been whooping their ass for 10 years. I'd have cheered myself getting hurt too if I'd have been them.
Now there is one guarantee.
Philly fans they're legit hardcore fucking fans. I mean,
there is one guarantee that will happen at this year's Super Bowl. You will hear over the singer of the national anthem, the people in the booth, you will hear home of the Chiefs.
Yep.
Thank you, Huey Lewis. And if the Chiefs win, Arrowhead Stadium will once again, for the first time since 2020,
show up on the Doppler radar.
Exactly.
Fireworks galore.
Exactly. But you know what? I tell you what.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yes.
I mean, all but the Tampa Bay Super Bowl, all the Chiefs games have been really good fucking games. I don't see that happening. I see it coming down to the last play. Or at least the last drive.
I don't see it being a blowout.
No.
Like the Tampa Bay one.
No. Actually, I see it coming down to either Philly trying to make a comeback and it's their last drive and a pick happening or something, or they kick the field goal and win the game, or vice versa.
Or it goes into overtime again.
Or it could go into overtime, yeah. And that's kind of funny because that's just a recent thing.
Yeah.
Overtime Super Bowls.
Well, okay, if you think about it, last Super Bowl, last year, it was a repeat of the 2020 Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
The only thing the Niners really changed they made Purdy the starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm. But they didn't jump out of that big league like they did in the first game.
No. And they sure the fuck didn't celebrate whenever they did take the lead.
Right.
Because some of them remember what happened last time.
I predict at least, if I was going to bet the over-under, I bet over 4 lead changes.
I could see that.
See, I can say that legally now in Missouri because we did pass gambling in Missouri. Sports betting.
Oh, but
I won't be betting on it, but I'm just saying if there was an over-under on how many lead changes, if the number was 4, I would bet the over.
I don't see too many turnovers.
No, especially both teams are pretty good on the turnover deal.
And they're pretty smart too.
But they're both pretty good on causing them, so that's going to be an issue there, you know.
I mean, Kansas City proved that you can block a punt and you can block a fucking field goal attempt. Because they did that with Denver earlier in the regular season
to win the game.
Yep.
They were up by 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And it was a short field goal. It was like 38 yards.
Yeah.
And just like, well, they lost this motherfucker.
Because they got in there quick.
What was that guy's name?
Oh, fuck.
One of the defensive linemen. Was he defensive lineman or special teams guy? But he blocked 2 this year.
Yeah.
Because he blocked 1 late in the season too.
Yeah. You know, and I just gotta say, I mean,
I think it's going to come down to who makes the fewest mistakes. I mean, that's a blanket statement. That's what most games come down to. But I think if the Chiefs can contain Barkley and Hurts,
yeah,
and you know, if Philadelphia can get pressure on Mahomes, I think Mahomes is going to have to let the ball go in about 2 seconds.
And he's good at that.
He's really good at that.
He's really good at the no-look pass, too.
He's really good at taking off, crossing the line of scrimmage, faking the throw, and still faking out the fucking defender that's coming up on him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, the dude's like, and he's like, see you, and run around him.
Right.
Or thinks he's going to go out of bounds, and he does that little sidestep thing and goes for another 10, 15 yards.
Yep.
With his dad bod.
Hey, the guy's earned it. He's got.
Hey, you keep playing like that, you got a pooch. Who gives a fuck? I mean,
you've got 3 Super Bowl rings. You have 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
You know, I seen a breakdown on Mahomes' first 7 years and Brady's first 7 years.
I just saw that, and I got to give, you know, I got to say.
Mahomes has got him on everything.
There was a couple that they were tied on.
But like passing yards?
Yeah.
Rushing yards, wasn't even fucking close.
Oh, yeah.
Rushing touchdowns, wasn't even fucking close.
Right. But Pat's got a long way to go to reach Brady, though.
But he's got them 3 MVPs. Brady had 2.
2, yeah. In the first 7 years, though.
Yeah, and that's Mahomes' first 7 years too.
Right.
So,
you know, I mean, the fact that you've appeared in 5 of the last 6.
I think if as long as Andy Reid doesn't fucking retire in the next 4 or 5 years, I think Patrick Mahomes will be fine.
I think as long as Andy Spags don't retire anytime soon.
See, that's what they were criticizing the Chiefs about all year. It's like, oh, they haven't scored over 30 points in any game this year. They're the worst first place team in football. And it's like, but their defense hasn't allowed over 30 either. That's why they've won. That's why they're 14-1 or whatever at the time that came out.
Wait a second. What was that second part you said?
Oh no, they said
the worst number 1 team in the NFL.
Yeah, because they had never scored. Well, they said if no, actually, what it was if the game didn't have that final 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
They'd be the worst team in football.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean, shit, you could say that about the Super Bowl in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco had that game won.
Yeah. What's funny is you give Pat Mahomes the ball. He showed that in a playoff game against the Bills. 16 seconds left.
Yeah.
What's he do? Throws a deep ball to fucking Kelsey. Field goal range. Timeout. Kicks it. They're going on to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. You know, but here's the thing, and I could see this as a strategy for this year. Okay? They took the lead. and they throttled back. They basically set cruise control. I'm going to make sure that you, on the other side of this ball, is not going to score anymore. But at the same time, I'm going to kind of take a step back and really pay attention to what you're doing. So in case we do meet in the postseason, I'm fucking beating your ass.
I see what you're saying. They were kind of sandbagging the regular season.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I wondered that myself. I talked to my boss about it. I'm like, so you think the Chiefs are showing us everything they can do? Or are they just playing well enough to win and holding shit back until the playoffs? I mean, because, you know, Andy's got a fucking book that fucking thick on trick plays that he loves to run.
Well, okay.
Or schemes that will.
Right. At the end of the season, is it going to say that Kansas City barely beat all of these teams? Regular season, that Kansas City only barely beat 15 teams, or they ended the regular season at 15-2?
Right.
You know,
that's what the record book shows.
It's all about that W and that L. And unfortunately, the fucking Raiders decided to win 4 games, so they don't get the number 1 draft pick.
I hear this quarterback class is not very deep either.
No.
You're talking about Dion's boy, maybe? Oh, did you see the Raiders got him a new head coach, though?
Yeah, Pete Carroll.
70-something years old, but the motherfucker is smart.
Seattle let him go.
Yep. A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He's one of 3, 4 coaches that's won a national championship in college and then won a Super Bowl.
You know,
Jimmy Johnson was one of them.
Yeah.
Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't know which one.
No.
No?
Harbaugh didn't win one because he was with San Francisco and he lost to his brother.
Right, but didn't his brother win a national title?
His brother won.
I didn't say which Harbaugh. I just said Harbaugh.
That I don't remember.
But I know I saw where Mark Davis had said that having Brady on the staff is what he's been missing since John Gruden left. Because Gruden was a student of the game. Mm-hmm. He understood the game. He enjoyed the game. Brady, yeah. Here's the thing is when you've got an owner, even a small stakes owner, he's not going to fuck you around because as an owner, if your team wins a championship, they get a ring too.
Right.
I mean, Brady's part owner of the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA team?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that was ring number 9, if you will.
Right.
Number 8 was from Giselle. Oh!
Boom.
7 from the NFL, 1 from Giselle, and 1 from the WNBA.
Randy Moss, he wants a ring, damn it.
He's got none. But, you know, the thing is, I have high hopes for the Raiders in the coming years. I just see...
I see Carroll as a short-term deal because of his age.
Yeah.
But if he can get the chemistry or whatever you want to call it turned around in that organization and get them to feeling, and then maybe the next coach be from his tree.
Right.
Because he coached a long time for Seattle.
Yeah.
He's...
Well, and unfortunately with Antonio Pierce, he came in and he was a breath of fresh air from fucking Josh McDaniels.
Oh, God.
I was against Josh McDaniels from the get-go, especially after he announced fucking Jimmy G coming on board, because Jimmy G had been hurt majority of the season with the Niners, and he was hurt majority of the season with fucking the Raiders. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, that's money fucking wasted.
Of course, he was with the Rams last year. He was
McDaniels?
No, Jimmy G.
Yeah, Jimmy G. But, and maybe that's where he belongs, is a backup quarterback. He's not a fucking starter. He was backup to Brady in New England, and McDaniels was an offensive coordinator or something.
He was a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
with the Patriots,
with Belichick over him.
Belichick, yeah, but I mean he done all the offensive play calls.
Right.
He's one of them. Like Spagnuolo sucked as a head coach. Stay in your lane as a defensive coordinator.
Right.
Daniels needs to stay in his lane as a fucking offensive coordinator.
Right.
Because some guys don't, I'm sure they realize, but it's like they don't understand the pressure of being the guy.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're over the offense, and you've got offensive line coaches, you got receivers coaches, you got running back coaches, you got quarterback coaches, but that's what you're the head of, and you're usually the play caller.
Right.
But then when you become the head coach, and you don't know jack shit about defenses except beating them, it's hard to hire the right people to run your defense.
Okay, now being
or to keep your fucking shit away from them to let them do their fucking job.
Right. So being from Kansas City, and it was a big deal after that Super Bowl in 2020. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator under Andy Reid, had been an offensive coordinator for a while, and everybody was calling for him to get a head coaching job, and he got a head coaching job. He took it.
Yeah.
After the Tampa Bay Super Bowl.
Yeah.
In 21. And then I never heard another thing about Eric Bieniemy after that.
And see the deal there with Kansas City as far as offensive coordinators, I think they can plug and play whoever they want because Andy's the one in charge of that shit.
Right. And Andy's going to hire who he believes.
But Andy still does the play calls, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
You just...
Billy Joe Jim Bob Jr. is our offensive coordinator, but Andy's calling the plays.
Right. You just need a coach for practice.
Right.
But and that's the thing about Andy Reid is
Andy's kind of like the Vince McMahon. He's given that coordinator, here, make them practice these plays.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to call on Sunday.
But Andy will turn over the reins to fucking Spags.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he don't fuck with the defense. He's like, you got that shit. I'm over here with Pat, figured out what we did wrong on that last series and whatever.
Right.
Oh shit, I need to call timeout.
Yeah. Okay, where's the play clock? Timeout. But I gotta say, it's going to be an interesting game. I am looking forward to it, and this year, my beard is not on the line because I'm not that fucking stupid. This is the Andy Reid era, not the Marty Schottenheimer era.
Right. Well, the Marty Schottenheimer era would be Kansas City be done.
Oh, they would have.
They might have got home field advantage, but they'd have lost the first game at home.
They would have lost wild card.
They would have been a wild card because they'd have had a good enough record in the regular season to have home field all the way through, but they'd have lost that first division game. They'd have had to bye because, I mean, Schottenheimer was great in the regular season. Just couldn't win a playoff game.
Now, let me ask you this, though.
Because what he was with
had
San
Schottenheimer
Diego,
been there, would he have taken Travis? Would he have gone after Pat?
probably not. One thing from the AFC Championship game, Worthy went fucking balls out in that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they got Worthy? Buffalo traded with him for that pick.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Pat Mahomes a few years earlier.
Chicago passed on Pat.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bills traded the Chiefs, so the Chiefs traded up to get Pat. there was a guy on Sports Talk saying, Buffalo, if you ever want to win a Super Bowl, quit helping the Chiefs. Because they traded their spot this year, so the Chiefs moved up and got Worthy.
Yeah.
Worthy bit him in the ass.
Oh, fuck yeah. I mean,
I like what Peyton Manning said when he was talking to teams and they were talking about drafting him and everything. He's like, well, you either draft me or I'm going to whoop your ass for the next 15 years. And he did.
Yeah. But Peyton didn't have what Travis had looming over him. The suspension for smoking marijuana.
Right. Yeah, because Andy called Jason.
Well, no, he called Travis, and then he asked to talk to Jason. And asked Jason.
Because he was there when they drafted Jason.
Andy drafted Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia.
And he got
like, is your brother got his shit together? Can I count on him?
Right.
He's like, you can count on him.
And
I promise you.
And it's funny, during the draft week, the New Heights podcast, they had Andy Reid on there. And they asked Andy about that because, you know, they're the only brother team that was drafted by the same coach on two different teams.
Right.
And B, the only brothers that have ever played against each other in the Super Bowl. And I am so glad that they both play offense. So it couldn't be, oh, you let this go, or oh, you let this go. So they weren't on the field at the same time.
I think the first brothers that actually physically played against each other were the Barber brothers.
I don't think in the Super Bowl.
Not in the Super Bowl.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it actually played against each other. It was Tiki Barber and Rondé Barber.
Right.
Rondé was a corner or safety for Tampa Bay, and Tiki was a running back for the Giants.
Denver. Was it the Giants?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure. Yeah.
I know he played for Denver for a bit.
But most of his career was in New York. And he said, you think my brother took it easy on me? Hell no. He looked forward to hitting my ass.
Chris and the Long brothers.
Chris Long played defense for the Rams. Yeah. He was a linebacker. And his brother was an offensive lineman for the Chicago Bears. And so they had one game against each other where they actually physically played against each other.
Was he a linebacker or was he a pass rusher?
No, he was an end. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
like his dad.
Yeah. So he was out there basically lined up against his brother.
The great Howie Long, if you will.
Yep. That was the first ones that played against each other. I forgot all about that, but yeah.
Yeah. And even then, because Chris talked about it on a podcast with Jason Kelsey and Bo Allen, that Rams-Chicago game, it was like Chris wasn't out on the field when... Oh, God, this is going to fucking... I need my eyeballs.
To the Google machine.
Because I believe they both won Player of the Year. Let's see here.
But his brother got in an altercation. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, and Chris got out there, and he's the one that got the flag because he was on the field
sideline
without his helmet on.
Yeah.
Long brothers NFL. Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle played for Chicago.
Yep.
Yeah. Chris, Hall of Fame, or no, Chris, Kyle and Howie Jr. Howie Jr. is a scouting assistant and personal assistant for the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, his dad is an NFL fucking defensive end for the Raiders. oh God, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole on Google, but Howie Jr., something happened in high school because he was the better football player than Chris or Kyle. And something happened which brought Howie Jr. into like business.
The Chris Long story is kind of cool.
Oh my God!
Because he played all them years with the Rams, and they were terrible during those years. He was like the one bright spot. Then they let him go, and he goes to New England
and wins a Super Bowl. And
he
then
he had a 1-year deal.
Yep. And then the year after that
gets picked up by Philadelphia. It wins another Super Bowl. I mean, what the fuck?
And
Dan Marino sitting there going, "You got to be fucking kidding me."
And here's Kyle. And Chris is a Walter Payton NFL Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And I believe Kyle is too. But
could be right. I never followed his career that much just because he played for Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
I don't watch a Chicago game unless they're playing the Rams or the Chiefs or they're in the playoffs.
You know, and it's just so crazy that you've got these amazing players like Dan Marino, who never won a Super Bowl, set all the fucking records.
Randy Moss.
Again, I mean, they've got ESPN has a thing on Saturdays, locally anyways, high school football, and it's a thing called You Just Got Mossed. And I'm
Steven Jackson, who, unless you're a Rams fan, probably don't remember Steven Jackson, but he is still the all-time leading rusher for the Rams. Never played on a winning team.
I got a.
They went 8-8 like twice during his 10 years with the Rams.
I gotta toot my own horn. One of the plays from my nephew, I can't remember whether it was in college or in high school, but he got he was on one of the Just Got Mossed.
Oh, really?
Because he was a linebacker. But to go off of what you were saying, Bo Jackson.
Right.
The greatest fucking two-sport athlete to ever fucking live. The only player.
Sorry, Dion.
Yeah, but.
He was pretty good, too, in two sports.
Bo did something that Dion didn't.
Right.
Bo played in a Major League Baseball All-Star game and an NFL Pro Bowl game in the same year.
Yeah. Back when they still had Pro Bowl games.
In theory. Because the Pro Bowl was always played in January.
Right. Same seasons.
Right. Same seasons. He was an all-star in two fucking sports.
Right.
And Marty fucking Schottenheimer would not take Bo Jackson. Bo loved the city of Kansas City so much that he wanted to walk across the parking lot from Kauffman Stadium to Arrowhead.
He had to done that in August.
And Al Davis was the only team owner that would allow Bo to come in like mid-season of the NFL.
Well, he was playing for the Royals, so it wasn't that mid of a season. I'm just saying, back then, their season was over with in July.
Well, I mean, but they still had George Brett.
Did they when Bo played for him?
Yeah, because George Brett has he's done interviews about Bo Jackson.
But the last time the Royals, well, not the last time, but the first time the Royals won a World Series was in '85.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they were still kind of contending.
And then 30 years later is when they won another one. Yeah. So, as it is right now, it's 2025. the Royals have another 20 years until they could win.
Until they could win another World Series.
To be on that every 30 year mark.
30 year run. Yeah.
So if the Yankees...
I'll be old as fuck then. Jeez.
Yeah. If the Yankees were to dissolve as a club right now...
And if we're still doing this podcast in 20 years and only have 100 subscribers, God damn it. But we'll still do it. You know why?
Because it's fun.
We love it.
Yes. And much like Andy Reid said in the remake of the classic Snickers commercial, that looks great, but
who are the
chefs? Great. Googly moogly.
So do you have a prediction? Besides what we've talked about, lead changes, blah, 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 blah.
Not as a score, because, but as an overall winner, I am picking the Chefs, and surprise, surprise, Pat Mahomes will take home his 4th Super Bowl MVP.
I like the way you're thinking.
Okay. Even though Harrison Butker will probably be the one that wins the game for him.
Right. But Pat Mahomes got to get him in field goal range.
Yes.
I, too, am going to pick the Chefs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who I'm pulling for, so my pick is kind of skewed.
History. You're going with historical facts.
But
how big of a butt is it?
It's pretty big.
Ooh, shit.
He's close to 300 pounds.
Damn.
I'm going to pick, for the first time in many years, a defensive player gets the MVP.
Oh, shit.
And that's Jones.
Oh, fuck.
Because he gets the sack that wins the game.
Okay. I like where your head's at.
Besides, that'll be his 3rd sack of the game.
Ooh, shit. So you're saying Chris Jones is going to have 3 sacks on Jalen Hurts, but he's going to have the sack that wins the game.
The one that ends their drive.
And gives the Chiefs the 3-peat.
Yep.
Go down in the history books. Andy Reid, as it sits right now.
Kind of like Aaron Donald. He didn't win the MVP, but he had the sack that won the games for the Rams against the Bengals.
Fuck the Bengals.
Fuck the Bengals. Sorry, Frank. Frank Merrick is a big Bengal fan.
Fuck that. I get made fun of on a daily basis at work because in 1987, I decided, you know what? I don't want to follow the norms of everybody else. I want to choose my own team. Because in the early 80s, it was all about the Cowboys. Because I thought Tom Landry was like he was, in my mind, he was the coach.
Well, and you had that whole America's team.
Well, with the hat, the jacket, and everything.
But I mean, but you had that mystique about the Cowboys, America's team.
Right.
Even though they won their first 2 Super Bowls, I want to say in the 70s.
Yeah.
But still, on through the 80s, you had the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Oh, God, yeah.
And it wasn't until the early 90s that they had that dynasty with Jimmy Johnson and
Troy Aikman,
Emmitt Smith.
Michael Irving, Emmitt Smith.
They won 3.
Yeah.
3 in 5 years.
In 85, I was a Bears fan because I lived in Illinois. And who the fuck didn't like the Super Bowl shuffle?
The Super Bowl shuffle?
We are the Bears. We are the crew. We are the
What sucks about that? One of the greatest running backs of all time.
Walter Sweetness Payton.
Did not have a touchdown in that game.
Nope.
But Refrigerator Perry did.
The biggest motherfucker on the offensive line had a fucking touchdown.
No, he was a defensive lineman, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, because he was like, free.
Yeah.
because he jumped over the defensive line. Yeah, and I mean, that was a 27-10 victory over the New England Patriots in 1985.
You forget how many times New England had been to the Super Bowl.
11 times.
Before the Tom Brady era started, you know. Damn.
Excuse me.
Them fucking barking tree spiders.
God damn them motherfuckers. It's all that Chinese food.
I got to get that board fixed.
You know? Again, I give it to the Chiefs, and you know,
I know what's funny around here because this has been Chiefs area for a long time, but I'm starting to get a little of that Chiefs hate down here.
Yeah,
they're fucking winning too much. The referees are for them, and blah blah blah. You know, it's coming from other fan bases,
right?
You know, but it's like. You're just a Chiefs fan because you're a bandwagoner, and I'm like going, it's a Missouri team that's doing good. Yeah, right. I'm gonna root for that.
Right.
I'm sorry, you know.
I've had people like my brother has told people that like a couple of weeks ago on his birthday that it's about the time of the season that I become a Chiefs fan, and it's not that I become a Chiefs fan. It's because the Chiefs are the number one in the AFC. So, yes, I am going to root for them. It could be the Patriots. It could be the fucking Ravens, as much as that hates. It could be the Bills. It could be, you know, the Dolphins. Any of the AFC teams, I am going to root for them in the Super Bowl. But the fact that I live in Kansas City, I will never come out and say that I am a Chiefs fan. I will never.
In fact, you gave me a Chiefs shirt.
I will never.
For two reasons, but
buy a Chiefs anything for myself. You know, and
you're going to root against the Chiefs at least twice a year, every year.
Yes, and even though I would love to have a split jersey, black and silver on one side, red and gold on another, with one of two players, Rich Gannon or Marcus fucking Allen.
Right.
Either number 12 or number 32.
Yeah.
But again, I told my brother that I was thinking about buying a Chiefs jersey one year, a Marcus Allen number 32. And he said, no, you can't. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, dude, that's like jumping on the bandwagon. I'm like, exactly. I'm not, but it's a Marcus Allen jersey. And he's like, dude, you've got a black and silver Rich Gannon jersey that you have worn to Arrowhead, and people have been like, oh, Raiders fan. Oh. And then they just shake their head because they know.
Our bad.
Yeah.
We kept Elvis, so let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same as Minnesota fans. I met a guy at Arrowhead the last game I went to wearing my Gannon jersey. He was a Warren Moon fan.
Okay.
He was a longtime Vikings fan, but he had a Chiefs Warren Moon jersey that he wore to Vikings games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Warren Moon play for the Vikings?
Yes.
Did he really?
Yep.
Because I know his biggest part of his career was with the Houston Oilers.
Right. But he did play for the Vikings.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he jumped around after.
Yeah, because the Oilers were NFC, if I'm not mistaken.
AFC.
Oh, were they AFC? Yeah. Oh, well.
Used to be the AFC
South?
Central.
Central?
Back then, when there was just East, West, and Central.
Oh, yeah.
Back before the realignment.
Yeah, well, I know the Raiders have always been AFC West.
What I thought was weird, because I was used to growing up as a Cardinal fan in St. Louis. They were in the NFC East with the Cowboys, the Giants, Oh, fuck. Let me think who all was in that. Philadelphia. Who else was all in that fucking division? There was like 7 teams back then. But anyway, then the Rams moved to St. Louis, and they were NFC West, right?
Yes.
Well, that made sense. They're on the West Coast, right?
West side of the Mississippi.
Yeah. And Seattle was a division rival, but so was New Orleans. It's like, okay, this is weird.
Okay, well, New Orleans is on the west side of the Mississippi.
But then Carolina.
Whoa.
And I got to looking at it. It's like, are they on the western part of the state? Or how did they do that shit? You know?
Yeah. And Seattle, actuality, if you think about it, they were the bottom team in the AFC West for the longest time before they jumped to the NFC.
They had some pretty good years with Zorn and what was that quarterback they had when they were still in the AFC West?
I don't know. Obviously not good enough.
I heard about them. They put up numbers, you know. They didn't put up Super Bowls or nothing, but it wasn't until Pete Carroll got there that they won a Super Bowl, so maybe for your Raiders.
Well, but the question stands, was Pete Carroll the head coach when they decided to pass it instead of let the number 1 running back run it into the end zone?
Yes, he was.
Oh, God.
I don't know if he was calling the plays, though.
Okay. Because, that's the last thing you do against the fucking New England Patriots during the Brady-Belichick dynasty.
1st and goal.
Yes.
And you don't hand off to Marshawn Lynch 4 times from the 1.
Right.
Even though everybody's got worst case scenario, you bootleg it, you do a play action this way to my right, keep it, turn around and run it in on the left side when everybody's going right to try to stop Marshawn. I'm just a fucking armchair quarterback, but
Monday morning quarterbacking right here. But you know what? We both agree it's going to be the Chiefs. They're going to win Super Bowl 59.
Sorry, Jason Kelce.
I'm saying that Patty Mahomes is going to get MVP number 4, and James is saying Chris Jones is going to get MVP number 1.
So I'm thinking the defense is going to win it for him.
Yeah. But you have just watched another episode of Stu Him Productions Presents
J&M Solve the World. I have been James.
And I have been Matt. And until next time, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.